Welcome back to the PAC Sports Network for our halftime show as we're now joined by Washington and Jefferson head women's basketball coach, Jina DeRubbo. Coach, first off, thanks so much for joining us today. I know your team has been playing tremendous basketball all year long, but what are some of the takeaways that you've had from the season up until this point?
It's been a fun year, I think, so far. And my joy in this is that this team is fantastic. Like our chemistry is good. They're committed to it. They come to practice ready to go most days, not every day, most days. And they're really competing. They spend extra time in the gym. So it's been a fun year and one that they're self-motivated for. So that's always nice.
Well, it's great that you can kind of get that motivation internally and not having to find other external areas for it to come from. But I know that you guys played a really tough out of conference schedule and played some really good out of conference teams. How has that kind of allowed for this really strong run in the PAC going up against other top tier teams in other conferences?
Well, that was something for us last year. It was a really hard pill to swallow. We were 24-3 and didn't get a bid to the tournament, after we got upset in the conference tournament. So, my goal was to make the most difficult out of conference schedule we could to kind of boost our strength of schedule. And, there were some really good games, some close games, but I think we learned early that, okay, we can compete with these teams outside of the conference as well as inside. So I think it kind of jump started our season. We don't get many of those non-conference games. So the ones that we did have were really important.
Well, in addition to the strong out of conference schedule, you also have brought back a lot of experienced players led by Megan Dryberg, who continues to be a big time focal point on your team. How have you seen her grow as a player on the court, but also as a leader off the court during her time at W&J?
Yeah, Megan has definitely evolved. I mean, her game is evolving. She's shooting the ball more from the perimeter. We talked a lot in the off season about we brought in a really strong class, and I would imagine most teams build their defensive game plan around Megan, and that she may not score as many points this year because she's getting double teamed and people focus on her, but kind of evolving her game into getting other people involved and making the other people around her even better. And I think she's done that. Her personal numbers are slightly, maybe just slightly down in points scored. But other kids are stepping up, and she's a playmaker, and a lot of people forget that she can be a big playmaker. And so I think she makes everybody around her better, which has helped our team win a lot of games this year.
And you also brought back Bryn Bizak and Adeline Cherry, two really good guards that kind of provide that outside threat. How much reassurance has it given you as a coach, knowing that your offense is in good hands with those two running the show?
Yeah, I mean, it's my job's been pretty easy this year. Addie is a true point guard and runs our team, and her and Brent are so different. We kind of joke about that all the time. Addie is kind of steady and a great point guard, and Brent is all fiery and energy, and kind of gets caught up in chaos sometimes. So those two really balance each other out. It's kind of the running joke on our team how we could meld them into one player, what that would look like. But yeah, I mean, it is what you get every night, and they put in the most work. And so it is very reassuring, even more so that we get them back for another year.
And down low in the post, you have Sarah Baradelli, who continues to be a strong threat, both scoring wise and rebounding wise. How does her play down low kind of complement the rest of the team when she's on the court?
Well, Sarah's kind of the unsung hero. Like she doesn't get a ton of attention, but she has really developed her game. This year, I think everything we've been working on for 3 years has kind of come together for her, and she's playing with a lot more confidence. And she is a true post player and really having a fantastic season. And no one on our team is putting up huge numbers because we have so many different options, scoring wise, even rebounding. But Sarah's been steady, and I think Sarah makes it impossible to double team Meg all the time or to focus. There isn't a kid you can't forget about on our team. So Sarah also kind of makes it easier for Meg and vice versa, right? Because you can't just focus on one of them. And Sarah's shooting 60% from the floor since Christmas. And she's playing really confidently right now. And no one deserves it more than her. I mean, she's just kind of slowly gotten better and better over her 4 years here. I wish she had one more year. So she's been great for us.
Well, you never know. You could write a letter to the NCAA and maybe get an extra year. You never know.
She does. We don't have a lot of grad school here, so so that's the issue.
Well, you obviously have a lot of promising young players that are coming through the ranks, like you mentioned, the strong class that you brought in. But then still, Aleutian has really seen a great ascension through the roster, especially as a sophomore. What does she bring to the table, and how does her offensive ability kind of take some of the pressure off of the rest of the team?
Yeah, Stella since Christmas has just caught fire. She started preseason strong and kind of had some little bumps on the road there. But since Christmas, she is just killing it. She's playing with a lot of confidence. She's just that kid that's really hard to guard. She's just such a slasher and can get to the rim, and she's long and so athletic. And now she's really starting to shoot the three ball well. So I think hopefully her play the way it's been since Christmas continues, because she makes us really, really hard to guard, because we do have set shooters and we've got a couple post players, and Stella can do a little bit of everything, and she's really fantastic in the open court, which kind of sets her apart from the other kids on our team.
Well, with all those players, again, it's been another very strong season for your team, and you continue to be kind of that level of consistency in the PAC each and every single season. I mean, what is the secret? What has it been about your program that you've been able to develop to allow for, teams that are winning 20 plus games yearly, pretty much?
Well, I think it's about the people, right? I mean, we're very strategic in our recruiting, and we recruit good kids, and the kids that are here in our leadership, they kind of set the tone. So once that's established, it's kind of it's hard to get it started, but once you get it started, it's easy that the upperclassmen and our leaders kind of just set the tone. And coaches comment here all the time about how much our kids are in the gym outside of practice, and that comes because our best players do that. So when your best players do that, the young kids have to do it. That's just what you do here. So I think the culture kind of leads some of that. But it's when you surround yourself with good people and good players, then it kind of takes care of itself.
Well, it's definitely been a recipe for success without a doubt at Washington and Jefferson. But coach, before we let you run, just want to ask you with, again, another kind of getting close to the end of the regular season into the tournament time, what do you think it's going to take for your team, and what will be key for your team to getting back to the PAC championship and ultimately crowning yourselves as champions?
Well, I think, we've got 2 weeks left. We kind of talk on a daily basis, or at least several times a week, about peaking at the right time. And I think that's where we're headed. And there is no easy game, and so we got to be playing our best down the stretch. And we've got some of our hardest games to play. And Chatham beat us last year, and that kind of is burned in our memory. So these kids are hungry. I mean, they've been working for a year for this, so we just need to have no letdowns here in the next couple of weeks as it gets tiring and that grind kind of hits you. So they're focused. We know it's not going to be easy, but that's been our goal since last year. So we're hoping we can finish it off.
Well, definitely excited for the rest of the season and to see how things unfold for you and the Presidents. Again, coach, thanks so much for stopping by today, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
That's Washington and Jefferson women's head basketball coach Jina DeRubbo. Don't go anywhere, as we'll have more second half action coming up next right here on the PAC Sports Network.